Hey there! Thanks for checking my channel, Code Rush, and for joining me as I document the process of learning to code. Today I finally reached my first Odin project, Recipes, which will test all the HTML knowledge I've acquired so far. For this project, I will have to build a basic recipe website that will have a main index page with links to a few recipes. I'm already told the website won't look very pretty, but I need to get over the looks and keep the focus on checking the HTML tasks. Because I've already read the exercise a few times, I have opened in my browser all the necessary resources. I'm logged into my GitHub account and I've already selected 3 recipes for my recipes website. Each recipe has an image opened. Okay. And a funny vintage GIF that will be on my index page. So this is what I have opened in the browser. And now I think I have everything to start the exercise. The first thing I need to do is setting up my project's GitHub repository. I will have to create a new repo for this project on GitHub and call it Odin Recipes and choose the public option instead of the default private. Let's copy the name. And now with the name copied, I'll go to GitHub, click on the plus button, new repository, paste the name. Odin Recipes is available. They said to choose public and it's public here already chosen. And I think this is all I need to do now. And I will click Create Repository. Here it is. And I'm gonna copy this link to clone it. Okay. Because this is also the second step, clone the repository onto your local machine inside the repos folder that you previously created in the Git basic lesson. And the command is git clone and the link I've just copied from my Odin Recipes repository. Okay, I'm gonna open my terminal. And probably make the browser smaller. Okay. So first thing I need to do is to cd into my repos folder. And inside the repos folder, I will have to clone the repository I've just created on GitHub. So git clone paste and enter. You appear to have cloned an empty repository. And that's true. It's an empty repository because it has nothing in it. Not even the README file we made in the Git lesson. Okay, it's okay. It's an empty repository. It won't be empty for long. Now I have to cd into the Odin Recipes. Okay. Now that I'm in my Odin Recipes folder, the one I've cloned from GitHub, I'm supposed to create a readme.md file. The first time I created the test repository on GitHub, I've selected the option from the GitHub account, from the section of new repository, and this is the first time I'm creating the readme.md file through the terminal. Gonna use touch. Okay, set up your readme.md file. I have already created the file. And write a brief introduction describing what the current project is and what skills you will have demonstrated once you have completed it. You can also do this as a self-reflection at the end of the project, which is a good way to review what you have learned. Okay, let's Open VS Code. And here is my README file. Let's see. I'm gonna write project recipes from the Odin project. Foundations course. And I'm gonna put the link of the lesson. Okay. And I will write some more. Okay, so now I have a small description here in the README file. I'm gonna save it. Go back to my terminal and check the Git status. And the file readme.md appears in red, which means it's not staged. And I will have to add it in the staging area by writing git add and the name of the file. Okay. If I check again git status, the name of the file will appear now in green. Now that the file is in the staging area, I am ready to commit, writing git commit -m and the command, let's say created readme.md and added project info. Okay, and enter. Okay, so now here on GitHub, there are no changes. But if I write git push origin main, okay. If I refresh the page, I should see my readme.md file. And here it is. Okay, now we have the readme file with the description, and let's see what I need to do next. And here they have some tips on when to commit, which is basically a small reminder of their previous lesson about commit messages. And they say when you're building your project, you will probably end up doing several git add plus git commit cycles before being ready to push it up to GitHub with git push origin main. When writing code, it's considered best practice to commit early and often. Commit every time you have a meaningful change in the code. This will create a timeline of your progress and show that your finished code didn't appear out of nowhere. Okay, I will keep that in mind, but to be honest, commits are my biggest scare in this exercise because I'm not sure if I'm committing the right way or if my messages are meaningful enough. But I guess I need to start somewhere, so even if I'm committing the wrong way now, I hope I'll improve that. And now let's go to the assignment. Iteration 1. Initial structure. Within the Odin recipes directory, create an index.html file. Okay, I'm here in the Odin recipes. Okay, fill it out with the usual boilerplate HTML and add an H1 heading Odin recipes to the body. I'm gonna go to VS Code and in index.html, I'm gonna add the HTML boilerplate. And now they say that in the body, I have to add an H1 tag with Odin. And here it is, my home page, index.html with an H1 tag for Odin recipes. I'm gonna save it. And I'm gonna use the live server. Yeah, pretty basic. And now that I have the index.html file, I will go back to the terminal and add it in the staging area because it's unstaged right now. If I write git status, it appears in red, so I will have to add it, git add index.html. And now I will have to commit it. Created index.html, added HTML boilerplate. You know what? I'm gonna make two comments here. So I'm gonna close this one after HTML and add another comment. And enter. Okay, what's next? Iteration 2, recipe page. Create a new directory within the Odin recipes directory and name it recipes. Okay. And now create a new HTML file within the recipes directory and name it after the recipe it will contain. For example, lasagna.html. You can use the name of your favorite dish, or if you need some inspiration, you can find the recipe to use here. This is actually the site I took my 3 recipes from. The first one is chicken noodle soup. Funny name, chicken noodle soup.html. Okay, I first have to cd into my recipes directory. And now inside it, I'll have to create touch chicken noodle soup.html. Okay. For now, just include an H1 heading with the recipe's name as its content. Going back to my VS Code, here it is, recipes, and the chicken noodle soup.html. I'll have to add the HTML boilerplate again. And now in the body, they say to add the H1 tag with chicken noodle soup. I'm gonna save the file. And I'm gonna go back in my terminal to add the staging area and commit this file also. Again, I'm not sure if I'm writing the right messages for commits. Okay, now I finished with chicken noodle soup.html in my terminal also. Let's see what's next. Back in the index.html file, add a link to the recipe page you just created. And now that I finished with chicken noodle soup.html, I will have to go back in my index in VS Code and to add the link for the chicken noodle soup.html file. Let's link it here. Okay. href. So it's in recipes. Here it is. Okay. Now in my index.html file, which is my home page, I've linked the chicken noodle soup HTML file. So if I save the file and if I go here on the web page, I can see the link. And of course, the link is for the same tab. So if I click now on chicken noodle soup, it's gonna open in the same tab, and I don't want that. Let's go back. And here in the opening A tag, I'm gonna add target blank. And rel, no opener, no referrer. And now I'm gonna save it again. Go to the link and click it. Now I have two tabs. One for my index page and one for my chicken noodle soup. Great! Let's close this one. Let's go back to the terminal to stage and commit the changes I've made here. Now I'm in Odin recipes directory. So my index is inside the Odin recipes, not in the recipes directory. In my recipes directory is only chicken noodle soup.html. So I have to cd back. Okay. Now I can git add index.html. Okay. And git commit hope is okay again. And if I write git status, nothing to commit. Okay, let's go back to the lesson, to the exercise, to the assignment. And let's see. Iteration 3, recipe page content. Okay, I'm gonna open VS Code again. I'm in my recipe chicken noodle soup.html file. And they say here, your new recipe page should have the following content. An image of the finished dish under the H1 heading that you added earlier. You can find images. Okay, I already have one here. I'm gonna copy. So first I'm gonna create the images here with the absolute link. Meaning I'm gonna just paste the link that's in the browser for the image. Okay, and let's write also an ALT value here, which will be, of course, chicken noodle soup. Maybe let's write delicious chicken noodle soup. I'm gonna save it and let's see how it looks on my page. It's a bit too big here. I'm gonna resize it. Let's add a width of 400. Gonna save it again. Okay. If I put height 400 also, it looks square, no? Let's see. Yes. Okay. Okay, so now I have the picture. What else do I need to have here? Under the image, it should have an appropriately sized description, heading, followed by a paragraph or two describing the recipe. Okay, so under the pic, I will need to add a description. To be honest, I first want to commit the changes I done. So I'm gonna go back in my terminal. I'm gonna cd to recipes and I'm gonna git add. Hope it's okay. Again, I'm not sure if I'm committing too often, but I feel better to know that I'm doing it after almost every change because I might forget. And here at the recipe page content, I want to commit after I'm doing each step. So adding the image was the first step, and now under the image, I should have an appropriately sized description heading, followed by a paragraph or two describing the recipe. Okay, going back in VS Code, adding an H2 this time because we already have the main heading, which is chicken noodle soup, and now I will add an H2 heading, the second best one of the page, with description. Okay. I'm gonna go to the recipe page. Okay, add this one. They have so many ads on this website. Okay, so I have the first paragraph. And the second one. Now I've added the description heading with 2 paragraphs. And I'm gonna go back in my terminal, git add. Okay, what's next? Under the description, add an ingredients heading followed by an unordered list of the ingredients needed for the recipe. Gonna add again an H2 heading for ingredients. Okay, and they say to create an unordered list. I will use the UL tag for unordered list, and this one will have bullets. And the li tag inside for the first ingredient. I'm gonna copy the first ingredient of the chicken noodle soup, add it between the li tags that are inside the ul tags. This is how an unordered list is created. First the ul tags, after that the li tags, and we use li tags for each item of the list. Let's go back here. I can already see my first ingredient, 1 tablespoon butter. Okay. Back to the recipe, and I'm gonna copy without shame everything here, all the ingredients, because this is how you steal a recipe. Okay, I've copied all the ingredients. Let's see how my page looks. Great, love it. And now let's go back to the terminal and repeat the cycle. Git add chicken noodle soup.html. Let's see what else the exercise asks for. And finally, under the ingredients list, add a steps heading followed by an order list of the steps needed for making the dish. Okay, so below the ingredients unorder list, I have to add another heading, H2 heading for steps. And this time I will have to create an order list, and this time this one has numbers. So OL, I will have to add each item of the list inside li tags. Okay, let's see the steps of my chicken noodle soup. 3 steps. I'm gonna copy them also. Okay. This is the first step. Maybe let's see it here. 1. I have the second one empty. Here. Okay. So I have the big page title, I have the image, I have a description with 2 paragraphs, I have ingredients, an order list, and an order list with steps to follow to make the recipe. What else now? Iteration 4, add more recipes. Add 2 more recipes with identical page structures to the recipe page you've already created. But before going to iteration number 4, I need to git add and git commit the changes I've made in my chicken noodle soup.html file. Before going to the 4th iteration, which is the one to add 2 more recipes with identical page structure, I want to see again my page and the index. Okay. But before, I also want to push everything I did so far to my GitHub account. So git push origin main. And refresh the page. I was curious to see how it looks. And history. Okay. So I've just pushed my index file with the first recipe that's inside the recipe folder. I will definitely fast forward for the other 2 pages because they are the same. I'm gonna do them exactly as I did the chicken noodle soup.html page. And I'm gonna make a page for buttermilk pancakes and another page for pesto pasta. And here are also the pictures. Okay. Okay. Now I have 3 recipes pages, and they are all 3 linked on the homepage on my index.html file. Let's see what else they say here. So this one is checked to add 2 more recipes and also to link the new recipes on the index page. Now what's left is to put all the links in an unordered list so they aren't all on one line. They do look bad in one continuous line because you don't understand when the first link ends and when the second starts. There's not enough space between the links here. So I'm gonna go into my index page and create an unordered list with an li for each of the links. Okay, they said unordered, no? Yes, unordered. Now it's way better. I can clearly understand there are 3 links here. I'm gonna go to my terminal and git add and git commit the changes. Oh, first I need to cd out of the recipe because I'm in my index.html file. I made the changes there and the index file is not in the recipes folder. Okay, let's see what else. The links won't be flashy, but for now just focus on building them out. Okay, that's done. Viewing your project on the web. If you want to show your work, the project to others or submit a solution below, you will need to publish your site so that others can access it from the web, rather than just your local machine. The good news is that if you have your project on GitHub, as described above, doing this is straightforward. GitHub allows you to publish web projects directly from a GitHub repository. Doing this will allow you to access your project from your GitHub username. Okay, I'm gonna follow the steps to see my project online. Make sure that the main HTML file of your project is called index.html. Yes. If it is not, you will need OK. Go to your GitHub repo on the web and click the settings button as shown in the screenshot below. Click on Pages on the left sidebar change the branch from none to main branch and click save. So I need to go to settings, pages, branch none to main, and save here. Is there another save? GitHub page source saved. Is there another save? No, it's saved. Okay. What else? It may take a few minutes. The GitHub website says up to 10, but we've seen it take up to an hour. Do not add a team to your project or you may have Git conflicts. Instead, be patient. But your project should be accessible over the web from my account. Obviously, substituting your own details in the link. Okay. Let's be patient. Okay, and now if I refresh it, your site is live at... So I don't need to write this. It's here in the pages. It was very much less than 10 minutes or 1 hour, probably because this project is not that complex. So here is the link, my username and the name of the directory, your GitHub username, your GitHub repo name. Yes. But I don't need to actually write this link. I can wait here in the pages where I've changed the branch to main until I get the link, and after that I can click on the link and it opens in the same tab. And I can also notice I have only chicken noodle soup. Guess why? Guess why I have only chicken noodle soup? Because I haven't pushed anything. So yeah, now I will go to my terminal and write the most important final git command, git push origin main, to update on the GitHub repository of Odin recipes everything I did till chicken noodle soup. Probably this will take more, but let's see on the account. I'm gonna open this here. Oh my god, so many tabs. Okay, let's go to Odin recipes and let's see. I can see here all of them. So I will need to, maybe now I need to wait 10 minutes. Or not. Or not. Okay. Yes. Here they are. So don't forget to git push origin main if you want to see everything. Okay. They say here, when you look at project submissions below, you might be asking, why do they look so good? Should my project look like this? Here is the answer. Well, the website looks bad. Oh, I want to add a GIF on the index page. This one. I think it will add a bit of action, make it a bit more funny, even though it looks like this. So in the index file, I will add... Okay. Looks better here. Now I have to add, commit, and push to see the changes here. Okay, let's see if... Okay. I have to wait a bit. Oh, here it is. And I think I'm done. I just followed the steps they had in the assignment, and the only extra thing I put is the GIF image on the homepage to bring a bit of animation, a bit of movement. Okay. Yeah, looks very basic. What else they say here? The main reason they look that good is that they are not done by beginners. Okay. They were likely submitted by people who had some experience with programming or who have completed the Odin project before and are coming back to make better websites. Your project should not look like that. Focus mainly on the requirements of the project. Okay. And now let's add the solution. GitHub repository. This is the repository with a bit of info here. Okay. I hope this one is. Is this one? I'm gonna make it bigger to see better. Okay. And the live preview. I will let privacy public. Okay. My first project here. This is exciting. Okay, so I have the live preview. And this. Now that my basic recipes website is up on GitHub and running, and after I've added my solution to the lesson, I want to make some small changes, and the first one regards the images I've used. I've only used absolute links for the image sources, which means all of them are hosted on a different website and they are not part of my project. So to fix this, I've downloaded all the images. They are in my downloads folder. And what I want now is to create an images folder inside the Odin recipes 1. So I'm gonna use make dir images. And inside this new images folder, I'm gonna move everything I have in downloads. And to do that, I'm gonna cd out of it. Okay, cd also from the repos. Now that I'm in my home directory, let's see them. I forgot the name. Let's try to move them one by one. And move them in. Hope I'm doing it right. Odin recipes. This way I can also practice moving files from my terminal. Okay, now they are all moved. Let's see the back in the repos folder. Odin recipes. Okay. Let's check the status. And I have the images folder here. Git add. Now let's go back in VS Code. In index. Okay, this is my local recipes website. Let's go into chicken soup. Here are the images. I'm gonna start with the chicken noodle soup. And I'm gonna change this absolute link in the chicken noodle soup with the one I have already, and is chicken noodle soup. Oh, here I also have a typo. Delicious. Okay. Let's save it. And now this one is supposed to be my image and not the image that was before on the other side on the All Recipes website. So even if it's still the same image, this time the image that's displayed on the web page comes from the images folder because it was saved locally and is not anymore connected to an outside site that can take the image out, for example, and break my page. Now I'm gonna go back to the terminal to add and commit this change. Okay. Again, this is my local repository, it's not the one on GitHub. And I can see it in the browser. I'm still working locally. And another thing I want to do inside this website is to add a go back link to connect this page to the home page. So basically to be able to go back in the index page from this page. And right here, go back. Let's see. And now I have this small link here. And if I can click it, yeah, I like it better like this. Okay, now I have to go back again in the terminal. And again, git add. Okay, I fixed the chicken noodle soup. I have 2 more pages to go and I will do exactly the same. Change the image source link and add a go back link to index.html. I've made the changes I'm able to do at this level of knowledge. So I'm gonna refresh. Now I have my images folder. And I think they've loaded. Yeah, they've loaded because the link is here. The same images, only now they are inside my images folder. Okay. The changes are live now. So throughout this project, not only that I've checked my HTML knowledge, but I've learned how to organize a project with folders. I've learned more about absolute and relative links. I've worked a lot in the terminal. I've also learned how to work more with Git commands and how to see my website live on GitHub. Even if the website looks basic, I think I'm very happy with all the practice the exercise put me through. Thanks for watching the video, and if you want, you can also let me know how this project was for you.